Tonight, an afternoon firefight.
There was smoke coming from the garage down here, and then it turned it into a big wall of flames.
Explosions reported, drawing a major response in South London. Plus, sitting on Ontario's report card.
There's a lot more that has to happen in education to put it all back on the right path.
Why the provincial government is withholding student test results.
It's absolutely ridiculous. The minister could release the information and then still analyze it.
And safe travels this holiday season.
Get that rideshare service, get that taxi, get that designated driver.
Launch day for this year's festive ride programs.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A large house fire broke out in South London this afternoon, damaging 2 homes. The flames were fast moving, requiring a substantial emergency response. With more from the scene, here's Sean Irvin.
Smoke pours from a window of a double-car garage on Thistle Ridge Crescent. The blaze at this large home began around 12:30 p.m. Neighbors heard multiple explosions before fire trucks arrived.
I heard a pop, didn't think much of it, and then heard 2 or 3 more pops and came outside, and there was smoke coming from the garage down here, and then it turned it into a big wall of flames.
That wall of flames quickly spread to the home next door. Firefighters faced a significant challenge as 2 vehicles burnt.
To knock down the exposure house to keep the damages to a minimum, and then get secondary lines in place and start knocking down the body of the fire on the main house.
Just as firefighters began to get the blaze under control, a portion of the garage collapsed. Up to 30 firefighters were on scene. There were no injuries to crews, and all residents in both homes escaped the flames. As firefighters cooled hotspots, officials stated their fight to save the badly destroyed home was hampered.
Especially with a metal roof, we've got to get up into that roof and peak area and take that off so that we can get out of the fire that's in the attic area.
An official cause will take time, but the initial investigation points to the garage area. The origin of the pops heard by neighbors is likely one of 2 things.
So the explosions could possibly have been either the tires that heated up and then let loose, or a possibility of there being some type of batteries that could have been inside the garage area at that time.
It was not immediately clear if either of the vehicles destroyed were electric, hybrid, or gas-powered. Early damage is set at $800,000 for 973 Thistle Ridge, $100,000 for the home next door. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Strathroy Caradoc police say the fire that destroyed a building near downtown was set intentionally last week. Fire crews were called to the former Scoops Variety on Caradoc Street near Maitland Terrace. They said the fire started in the early morning hours and they were able to control the spread quickly. No injuries were reported, and police are asking for any information that may help them identify a suspect. American law enforcement officials say Canadian authorities arrested a suspected serial killer at the Blue Water Bridge this week. According to the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office in Michigan, 24-year-old Maxwell Anatra tried to enter Canada Wednesday afternoon. According to the Crawford County Sheriff's Department in Ohio, police had conducted a welfare check at a home in that state earlier that morning. Police say officers found the bodies of the suspect's parents. Anatra has been charged with 1 count of murder so far, with additional charges possible. A search and rescue operation today in the Dalewood Conservation Area looking for a missing man. St. Thomas police say the man was last seen Tuesday near Dalewood Road. They were assisted by several London search and rescue organization volunteers. Forensic team members used a drone to survey the area as well. A senior officer at the scene says despite the increased police presence, this is considered a missing person investigation, not criminal. According to police, the missing man appeared to be wearing a leather coat and a fur-lined hat with a brim. A sentencing hearing today for a man who was running an illicit magic mushroom shop in London. He had applied for a constitutional challenge, arguing psilocybin provides many benefits for users. That failed, though, and as Nick Paparella reports, he now faces a fine for his actions.
In June of 2023, London police raided the Fun Guys location on Richmond Street near Horton. At the time, 33-year-old Samar Akila was charged and later pled not guilty to possession for the purpose of trafficking psilocybin, also known as magic mushrooms. After he was arrested, Akila brought forward a constitutional challenge, arguing that the laws that ban the use of psilocybin violate the freedom of thought. Earlier this year, the challenge was shot down and Akila was found guilty. What makes this case even more unique, in February, Akila told the court he left the country to go to Egypt to visit a sick relative and hasn't come back to London, making his court appearances via Zoom. Appearing the same way for his sentencing hearing, his lawyer, Paul Lewin, argued that his client wanted people to benefit from the use of magic mushrooms, saying he did it because he believes in these issues. Federal Crown Vincent Mazza argued that the accused has shown no remorse, adding Mr. Akila knew what he was doing was illegal. He thought he was doing a good thing because he was doing it through a fancy storefront. He went on, he knew he was breaking the law. He continued to do it. He didn't care. The Crown is asking that Akila receive a $20,000 fine, while the defense is asking for a $1,000 penalty. Justice George Orsini will hand down his decision on the case on December 16th. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Provincial police in southwestern Ontario say impaired driving charges and deaths are up this year compared to last. They're sharing that message as their annual festive ride campaigns get underway. With more, here's Brian Bicknell.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. Go ahead and raise a cheer, but remember, these folks will be near.
So they will be out there in force, ensuring that people are getting where they're going safely.
Police services across the region, including both the OPP and London Police, have launched their festive ride programs. In OPP West Region, all 13 detachments are taking part. Media representative Derek Rogers says drivers can expect a heightened OPP presence on roads and highways as officers conduct ride checks 24/7.
If you're impaired by either alcohol or drugs, you're a danger to yourself and you're a danger to those that share the road with you. Brings into place some calling, making some plans in advance. So get that rideshare service, get that taxi, get that designated driver, and get home safely.
Despite ride checks and other education campaigns, not to mention potentially devastating consequences, impaired driving continues to be on the rise. Within OPP coverage areas of West Region, so far in 2025, 12 people have died from impaired driving collisions, compared to 11 deaths over the same period in 2024. So far, OPP officers have laid 2,461 impaired charges compared to 2,313 at this time last year, an increase of more than 6%. Mad Canada's Project Red Ribbon coincides with Festive Ride. It symbolizes commitment to sober driving. Local MAD spokesperson Katrina Alot says easier access to legal drugs and alcohol could be a factor in impaired driving stats.
Just with the increase and the ability to get alcohol and other substances easier now, I know that with the rise of gas stations being able to carry alcohol and dispensaries all over the city, just easier access means more.
Project Red Ribbon runs until January 5th, Festive Ride until January 1st. Oh, by golly. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. We're live from inside the Grand Theater for opening night of Frozen, the Broadway musical. I'm joined by Leah Creedis. Thank you so much for having us tonight. I am so excited. This is one of my children's favorite Disney shows. Tell us a little bit about what folks can expect.
You can expect the amazing story of Anna, Elsa, and the magical Frozen Kingdom of Arendelle with all of the same songs you know and love, plus some new music, and brought to life on on the beautiful Grand Theatre Spreet stage.
Lots of hours go into planning a production like this. It is massive, and it's the first time in forever that you've ever had this show here. So tell us a little bit about the work that goes on behind the scenes.
So much goes on behind the scenes. At the Grand Theatre, we're proud to be World Curious London made. At our theatre, shows are produced and built right here at the Grand. In this very special case, Frozen was co-produced with the Citadel Theatre in Edmonton. So two great Canadian theatres have come together to bring this magical story to life, bigger and better than we could have ever dreamed possible. So we're happy that the fairy tale is continuing here in London.
And we're excited the fairy tale is here too. Now tonight is sold out, but you have some exciting news for fans.
We've extended Frozen till January 4th, and we've been listening because Londoners have been really wanting the matinees on this show. So we've listened and we've added more afternoon performances of Frozen during this extension. So if you didn't get tickets the first time around, check online right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leah. And you look beautiful. I hope you have a great night. Let's get right into the forecast. So our daytime high today, well above seasonal, but we are slowly starting to drop 5 degrees right now. The winds are calm. We did have a daytime high of 10 today, but again, as we head into the night, we have a bit of cloud cover coming through due to a system sitting south of us. It's going to usher in a bit more cloud cover than we'd like for your Saturday, but overall, not a bad weekend ahead. We are going to be seasonal and mostly sunny for this weekend. But heading into next week, we have a big temperature drop coming in our direction. I'm going to break down the full forecast for you. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you in the newsroom. Carlyle?
Rita, a day after the Budget Committee finished deliberations at City Hall, a letter from the Salvation Army Centre of Hope asks councillors to reconsider a funding boost for London's rent bank. With more on that request, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Whenever it's an 8-7 vote, I do think that there's still an appetite for councillors to reconsider.
Councillor Hadley McAllister believes a letter from the Salvation Army might breathe new life into an unsuccessful budget amendment that would have added $250,000 to London's rent bank in 2026 and 27.
This is a very proactive program that will help people stay housed, and I think we absolutely need to consider it because we don't have a lot of tools in our toolbox to keep people housed.
The rent bank is an income-based program that offers financial support to Londoners struggling to pay their rent or utilities. It has about $1.2 million to distribute each year. According to the letter sent to Council, applications to the rent bank are accepted each month until that month's allocation of funding runs out. Then the rent bank has to close until the following month. Already this year, the rent bank's been closed 14 weeks. Meanwhile, demand is escalating with 1,668 applications in the first 7 months of this year.
I could appeal to people's sense of compassion.
On Thursday, the Budget Committee voted against 2 separate motions that would have provided additional funds.
What we have to do is have a program in place of a certain level to do something, but we also need to advocate on the root causes of the need for the program.
Advocacy does not keep people in their units. And I don't hear anybody saying that there's no need for this.
That's done through the Salvation Army. And they didn't come asking us again to expand the budget.
The letter subsequently sent to Council makes this plea about the additional $250,000. Quote, "We would be glad to accept this amount or any greater amount if it meets your approval." McAllister's motion would have sourced one-time dollars from a reserve account for Council-led initiatives and not impacted the tax rate.
If someone's going to use the Community Investment Reserve Fund as a source, that can happen at any time during the year. It doesn't have to happen at the budget process.
We have the opportunity to do this now, especially as we're getting to the tail end of 2025. I think going into 26, it would be good to have this money ready for the program.
McAllister intends to reintroduce his motion at City Council's budget meeting on November 26th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Ontario's education minister faces criticism for withholding EQAO test results. Provincial government officials say they want to carry out a deep dive on the numbers, but as Siobhan Morris reports, that shouldn't prevent those numbers from being released.
How many people had it in both?
It's the education system's annual report card. How well are kids grasping math, reading, and writing?
Soon we'll be releasing the EQAO results, so there's a lot more that has to happen in education to put it all back on the right path.
But the Education Quality and Accountability Office report is usually out earlier in the fall. The Minister of Education says he's been holding it back to do a deep dive and act on what he's seeing.
It's absolutely ridiculous. The minister could release the information and then still analyze it.
The Liberals say the system should be able to walk and chew gum.
I think he's hiding the results because the government's record in education isn't great.
Last year's EQAO results showed fewer students in grades 3 and 6 meeting literacy standards. Math scores were steady or slightly improving, but still low.
It's actually most importantly for kids, their educators, and their families so they can get the help that they need, if they need it, to learn.
The opposition calls this holdback part of a government pattern.
They do not think they need to be transparent with parents or with educators. They don't think they need to be accountable to us, and information sharing is something that is optional.
The Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario describes EQAO results as just a snapshot of one day.
Wanting to take a deep dive or really understand what's happening with a one-time assessment tool is concerning.
Bell believes the minister's time would be better spent taking a whole-of-child approach.
It means smaller classes. It means investing in having more professionals in our classroom so that we have the proper mental health support, so that we have the proper professionals besides our educators in the building to help students be successful.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The Toy Mountain campaign supporting the Salvation Army is back for its 30th year. Businesses, schools, organizations, and community groups are invited to collect and donate toys for local families. Organizers say more Canadians are struggling with the increasing cost of living, and they hope these donations will bring some joy for local kids this holiday season.
We've been giving toys to over 4,500 children this year, and without the support of the community, we just wouldn't be able to do that.
Guests are asked to donate new or unwrapped toys to our Toy Mountain bin, which is located by Santa's Cabin, and there are some great locations to go to. We have Sport Check, Shoppers Drug Mart, as well as Marshall's, Miniso, and Showcase.
Coming up, several injured in a BC bear attack. The search for the grizzly involved and the theories behind what provoked the wild animal.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
The Princess Margaret Lotto's early bird prize deadline is midnight tonight. This is the last chance to be entered into the draw to win the $3 million early bird prize package, a Muskoka lakefront cottage, and $50,000. There are over 13,000 prizes that will be awarded, valued at over $10.9 million, including the grand prize. Don't forget, it's a $7 million grand prize, an Oakville show home, plus $500,000 in cash, awarded fully furnished and professionally designed. Other exciting prizes include a lineup of luxury vehicles, worldwide vacations, and so much more. Don't forget to add the 50-50 jackpot. Carry the fire for a world free from the fear of cancer. Buy online before midnight tonight at princessmargaretlotto.com.
Conservationists in a remote BC community say they're looking for a grizzly bear after an attack on a school group yesterday. Several people were hospitalized, 2 reportedly in critical condition. Scott Hurst reports.
It is a terrifying attack that has left a small BC community on edge. A grizzly bear attack injuring multiple students and at least 1 teacher. Of the 4 injured in the bear attack, 3 are children, 1 is an adult. Another 7 people were cared for at the scene. At the time of the attack, the students and the teachers, approximately 20 of them, were having lunch along a trail by the river in the remote community on BC's central coast when the grizzly apparently emerged from the forest and attacked. What prompted the bear to charge the group is not yet known at this time. According to the BC Conservation Officer Service, multiple teachers intervened. They used pepper spray and a bear banger to stop the attack and get the grizzly away from the students. The injured were initially treated in the community, but are being transported to Vancouver for further care. A spokesperson for the local school district told CTV News the attack involved an independent school run by the Newhalk First Nation. Conservation officers tried to locate the grizzly overnight, but no luck in tracking it down as of yet. Preliminary information suggests the bear may have been previously injured. Efforts to capture and assess the bear are continuing today.
Captured mitigation techniques have been set to capture and evaluate the bear in question. We recognize this incident is distressing for the community. We are in close contact with the Newhalk Nation as our investigation continues.
Today in the community, the school is closed, but the district says it is doing what it can to provide support and counseling services. The public is being asked to avoid the area surrounding the incident and remain indoors until further notice. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
A Value Village in Chatham was evacuated earlier this week as a precaution because of a donated item which staff thought could explode. Sanjay Maru has more on the frequency of these old ordnance discoveries.
Here we've got like a mortar shell that had been donated.
Hard to believe something as volatile as this could have fallen out of a vehicle, but that's exactly what happened just over a year and a half ago, prompting OPP to shut down a roadway in Leamington.
It could have been just transporting as somebody's cleaning out an old family member's residence. A lot of times that's how they're discovered.
Just this week, police in Chatham were called when a Value Village store received a donation, later identified as a historical grenade dating back to the Second World War. The store was evacuated as a precaution.
A lot of veterans around the world, they were bringing back little souvenirs from the war. When they got home, they just left it in the loft or in a shed. Never thought anything more about it. They've obviously sadly passed away. And now, obviously, the next of kin are finding the actual ordnance.
That's believed to be what happened in 2018 when an 11-year-old boy living on Gladstone Avenue in Windsor came across a decommissioned grenade after moving a filing cabinet. 1 year prior, a citizen alerted police to an alley on Peary Avenue after finding what turned out to be a diffused grenade. And in March of 2020, a couple from Wallaceburg were magnet fishing on the Thames River when they pulled up a grenade with the pin still intact.
Regardless of how you come across it, we recommend not touching it, backing out of the area where you are, and call 911 immediately.
At the Kingsville Military Museum, everything on display comes from the community, meaning it's exactly the kind of place where decommissioned grenades, shells, or military artifacts can be brought in. That's, of course, after police confirm they're not dangerous.
Once you polish this up, it'll be like really shiny brass and it makes an ideal doorstop. But obviously on this occasion, everything's been emptied out and it's all been cleared and is safe for display in the museum.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
A Christmas classic is getting a rural twist at the Blythe Festival next month. Scott Miller has more on Charles Dickens reimagined as a Huron County Christmas carol.
He's the prettiest girl this side of Holmesville.
Cast and crew are putting the finishing touches on a Huron County Christmas carol, a local twist on the Dickens classic.
We find ourselves every day in the rehearsal hall laughing and cheering and our eyes welling up because it's, this beautiful, sad, funny story that is the Christmas Carol.
The community should have been our business, Ebenezer. The community!
Along with 2019 and 2023, this is the third staging of a Huron County Christmas Carol in Blythe. Garrett says half the cast is new from 2023, and some uniquely local actors are joining the cast, including Bronte Hunter from Bruce County, making her Blythe Festival debut.
This is a place that I've always wanted to work. It's the place where I saw professional theater for the first time.
The theme of the play, which is Ebenezer Scrooge buying up all the feed mills from Windsor to Tobermory to put farmers under his thumb, hits close to home for Hunter, whose family still farms near Kincardine.
My parents and my entire family were very involved in the Line in the Dirt movement, protesting against the rise of corporate farming and the loss of the family farm. And so when I was reading the play for the first time and seeing the design sketches for the first time, I was completely overcome with excitement and gratitude that Blythe is being so honest about the way that corporate farming has affected people here in Huron County and in Bruce County, where I'm from.
Garrett says their take on A Christmas Carol puts a bow on one of the Blythe Festival's most successful seasons in years.
It was an incredible season for us. I mean, we had almost 30,000 people through the theater this summer, which was just so thrilling. And to be able to have the season carry on.
Hunter, whose family only lives 40 minutes from Blythe, are already asking for tickets.
It's the first time that I've been back close enough for my family to come see me work. So, yeah, it's really exciting.
A Huron County Christmas Carol opens December 3rd and runs until December 21st. In Blythe, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Heading back to the Grand Theatre now, rejoining Rita Ismail live on location for us tonight. And Rita, I imagine the forecast on stage tonight is blizzard-like, and I'm hoping that's not the case for us outside.
No, we don't have any snow in this forecast, so I can't make it snow. But you're right, there is some flurries on the stage because we are live from the Grand Theatre for opening night of Frozen, the Broadway musical, and it is going to be a great night. Tickets are sold out for tonight, but they've actually extended the show until January 4th with lots of offerings. Tickets can be purchased online. Let's get into the forecast. We were certainly not freezing here in London, reaching a daytime high of 10 degrees, well above what's normal this time of year, and overnight it was mild as well at 7. Now the record 17 degrees in 1953 and a bitterly cold -16 low in 1951. As we head into the night, the temperatures are slowly starting to drop throughout Mount Forest and Goderich at 3-5 here in London, and quite nice in Windsor at 8 degrees. The winds are calm. Heading into the night, we are going to see an increase in cloud cover. We had a low pressure system push through early this morning. It didn't really have an impact. There were some passing showers overnight. There's that system sitting to the south of Lake Erie. You could see rainfall associated with that, but for us it'll just mean cloud cover as it pushes through tonight and into tomorrow morning. But we are expecting high pressure to move in, and we'll actually be sandwiched between that system and another weak one to the north. So we'll be under a mix of sun and cloud for Saturday, and seasonal daytime highs. A bit more cloud cover Sunday morning as that weak low pressure system swings through. In Grey Bruce County, you will pick up some rainfall early Sunday, but then you could see it all clears out by sunset on Sunday. So overall, not a bad weekend forecast this evening. Again, 3 degrees, 1 overnight, and then the winds will shift. They'll be out of the northwest, and that'll make it a bit of a chilly start to your Saturday. -1 early first thing tomorrow morning, and a wind chill factor making it feel about -5. But still, no snow in this forecast. Seasonal daytime high for your Saturday at 6 degrees, and we're actually going to see similar conditions in store for your Sunday as the temperature climbs right back up to 6 Sunday afternoon under a mix of sun and cloud, and then heading into Monday it actually warms up to 8 degrees ahead of another low pressure system that we're tracking for Tuesday. That will bring in some light rainfall throughout the day, and the story with that will be as it exits Wednesday, the temperature will tumble to the freezing mark Thursday and then struggling Friday into next weekend. Midwestern Ontario, again, slight chance for some passing showers overnight Saturday into Sunday, and for you there could be some flurries in the forecast, but they'll be early Sunday morning. By the afternoon we will have a nice mix of sun and cloud with 6 degrees, and then Monday 8 degrees, similar conditions. That system moving in Tuesday will bring widespread light rainfall, and it looks like it's going to go down from there. Mostly cloudy conditions, chance of flurries as the temperature hovers around the freezing mark Thursday and Friday, bringing snow into your forecast. So again, we're live inside the Grand Theatre here in London for opening night of Frozen. Folks are starting to arrive. It is going to be a beautiful, massive production here. And for here tonight, I'm going to check off as Rita, Princess of Arendelle, and I'll throw it back to you. Carlyle.
All right, Rita, thanks very much. Still ahead, spending plans ahead of Black Friday. We look ahead to the American shopping tradition playing an ever-increasing role in Canadian holiday preparations.
I'm Scott Miller. Please have a listen to the current episode of my podcast, where I'm joined by Lori Carter, founder of Cemetery Enthusiasts of Huron County.
Backroads with Scott Miller, available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
One of the biggest nights in country music happened this week. We've got all the highlights, plus an artist who might be heading to Hollywood soon.
All that and more on the iHeartRadio Pure Country Countdown. Catch it Saturdays at 9 and Sundays at 4 with us.
American Thanksgiving is next week, which means Black Friday sales are getting underway. According to a shopping survey from the Canadian Retail Council and Leger, respondents said they plan to spend close to $1,000 on the holidays this year, with the vast majority listing Black Friday as their most important shopping day. More than half said they actually start researching deals weeks in advance, increasingly relying on smartphones to find the best offers.
We're north of 40% now in terms of holiday sales being done on mobile phones, and it allows you to sort of look quickly and compare different things. So, you know, some retailers like Amazon have special days where certain items are only available on their app. They also have Rufus, which is an AI that can help you shop. So we're seeing more Canadians buy on mobile over the last 5 to 10 years.
86% of respondents said they plan to shop close to home, and 84% said they wanted to buy Canadian. However, the survey also found price as the #1 decision factor. Mark Carney has arrived in South Africa ahead of the G20 summit. He's coming off a trip to the United Arab Emirates, where he secured a pledge of $70 billion to be invested in Canadian energy, mining, and AI. With more, here's Rachel Aiello.
Over the next year, we will take significant measures to elevate our relationship.
Speaking to a crowd of Emirati and Canadian business leaders, the Prime Minister said his government is ready to start reaping the benefits of a strengthened economic and diplomatic relationship between the two countries.
On the surface, to the uninitiated, Canada and the UAE can appear as different as snow and sand. Yet we're deeply, deeply aligned. At our core, we're both trading nations.
At the Canada-UAE Business Council Summit, Mark Carney highlighted how both nations are in a position to lead the global clean energy transition and announced the start of a new agreement valued at more than $1 billion to expand critical mineral processing capacity in Canada.
This is a new chapter in our relationship, a new chapter in our partnership.
Delegations of big funders from both nations will also be exchanging visits next year. Trips made easier by Canada and the UAE confirming more direct commercial flights are coming. With the Canada-US trade war waging on, the political stakes are high for Carney to deliver on diversifying Canada's economy quickly.
This is really important to AI infrastructure build out, data centers, mining projects, infrastructure, everything that Canada wants to build will need a large amount of money, and the UAE is a good starting point for that.
While here on the sidelines of the summit, the Prime Minister will be trying to advance trade talks with other world leaders, including India's Prime Minister. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Johannesburg.
Canada's main stock index closed the week higher on broad-based gains. The TSX rose more than 250 points. In New York, the Dow was up almost 500. The Nasdaq gained close to 200. The Canadian dollar was off 1/10 of a cent. On commodities, gold jumped $19.50 an ounce. And oil was down 94 cents a barrel. Still to come, defending the refs after a minor hockey scrap. The pressure on young officials when the adults lose their cool.
Dallas Smith is bringing a special one-night-only unplugged show to Centennial Hall on November 29. And Pure Country 93 and CTV London have your chance to win. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to score a pair of VIP tickets.
'Tis the season for helping others, and the Business Cares Food Drive is how we can all help Londoners in need. On November 29th and 30th, over 40 participating grocery stores and hundreds of volunteers will be collecting food and donations. Over 40% of people who use the London Food Bank are children, so your support is needed now more than ever. Let's ensure everyone has a happy holiday.
Emergency crews in Brampton say they have recovered the remains of one person from a burned-out house, and they're still looking for 2 more people following a deadly fire yesterday. With the latest on that investigation, here's Janice Golding.
An emotional morning in a Brampton neighborhood. Area residents overcome by grief as crews began the task of searching for bodies, making a grim discovery early this afternoon.
Short time ago, crews on scene have located the remains of an individual. They believe at this point that it to be an adult.
Initially, 3 people were unaccounted for, but fire crews were unable to mount a search yesterday due to structural concerns.
It's not how fast we can bring it down. It is how slowly, methodically, and carefully we can bring it down to ensure that we don't disrupt anything that is critical to the investigation.
The 2-alarm blaze in the McLaughlin and Remembrance Roads area of Brampton broke out around 2 a.m. Thursday. When firefighters arrived, they'd locate 2 people who died in the fire, one just inside the home, another just outside.
Look out! Everyone look out! On the grass!
You can hear fire officials calling to Gurdev Singh's family 2 doors away as surveillance cameras captured some of the burning home's residents and other neighbors spilling onto the street.
My heart is so die today. Yeah, it's so bad. Very, I'm not sleeping last night.
9 family members lived on the main 2 floors, including 3 who've been confirmed deceased, 2 who are still unaccounted for, and 4 others, including a 5-year-old boy who would jump from a second-floor window.
My thoughts and prayers goes with the family members that are affected. I think that our neighborhood's definitely shaken and heartbroken by this.
Emergency officials tell us 2 people who were uninjured were renting the basement. 11 people in all living in a home that was not licensed to be a multi-unit dwelling.
Going to review all of the documents that we have related to any other registered licenses for any other residents, and we'll continue to work towards ensuring compliance.
Officials say the home was owned by an absentee landlord who applied to create a basement unit in 2019, adding a series of orders to comply had been issued by the city's building department, which were repeatedly ignored.
Brampton, what happened? One house, so many people, 20 people, 15 people, more than. It's no good.
I hope this is a wake-up call for some landlords to maybe, do things the right way and actually rent legally and responsibly, and make sure that their places are up to fire code, and make sure their places are up to every code that you need in terms of renting.
At this point, neighbors say one of the 2 residents still missing is a toddler. Janice Golding, CTV News.
London police say they need help finding 2 suspects accused of threatening someone with a stun gun. Police say it happened back in August. They say a man and woman stole items from a grocery store but were confronted by a worker. Police say the man pulled out a stun gun threatening the worker, but there were no injuries. Members of the Southwestern Ontario officiating community are defending the referees involved in a minor hockey game that ended with 2 coaches fighting. As Bob Belichico reports, they say it's the adults who lost control and deserve all the blame.
Not their job to break up a fight between 2 grown men.
Young referees were caught in the middle of this dust-up between 2 hockey coaches following a U13 game this past weekend.
I hope they continue to referee, because sometimes stuff like this, especially if you're a really young referee, says, I quit. This is too much. They'll learn by it.
Our focus from the referee side is to keep the game fair and safe for the kids. What happens with the adults is unfortunate, but a little bit outside of our scope of influence.
The game took place at the Atlas Tube Recreation Center in Lakeshore between the Bell River Canadians and the Riverside Rangers. The OMHA suspended all coaches from both teams indefinitely.
I firmly believe that the coach had an opportunity to say, no, I'm not going to say that. And he chose to, and he has to live with the repercussions.
Would signs help? Here are a couple of signs from local arenas warning everyone cameras are watching over the facility, but no visible signage at those rinks encouraging parents, players, and coaches to respect the game and each other. The City of Windsor has signs ready to deploy in the next little while.
We will be posting those on our indoor facilities and our outdoor fields, and it will outline what our expectations are from spectators. And I would argue that coaches and players are held to an even higher standard.
That standard is set in Lakeshore. This sign is found in locker rooms as a reminder.
Everyone can learn from this, but if it continues to happen, then we have to look at ourselves and say, okay, why is this continually happening? Maybe they make a rule that says coaches shake hands before the games.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Today's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Lori. She took this photo of a beautiful sunset in Shedden. The winds easing tonight, but they'll shift to a more northwesterly flow, which means dropping temperatures. Our overnight low expected to hit -1 and feel close to -5 early Saturday. That will result in a slight chance for some lake effect flurries further to the north. Now we have a mix of sun and cloud for most of the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday, but Sunday will have a bit of breezy winds. Mild Monday ahead before colder temperatures move in late next week.
Serial killer Dylan Millard has been moved from a maximum security prison to a medium security facility, prompting outrage from his victims' families. As John Venavalley-Rao reports, though, that's the way our justice system is designed.
Dylan Millard is one of the country's most notorious killers who murdered not only his girlfriend, Laura Babcock, but also his own father and Tim Bosma, a complete stranger who was selling a pickup truck. After first being convicted almost a decade ago, Millard's been kept in a maximum security jail. But now Bosma's family say they've been notified he's been moved to medium security. In a statement, the family wrote, "We are disgusted by the news," calling Millard a psychopath monster, and writing Corrections Canada disregarded the feedback provided by our families in response to the possibility of such a move. They went on to say it's an abhorrent transgression, offending all manner of common sense.
Medium security does mean you have greater ability to interact with other prisoners, you have greater ability to engage in correctional programs, but it's no cakewalk, right? It's not like going to day camp.
Experts say it is understandable that the families of the victims would be upset, but say an eventual move to medium security is typical in a system designed with the idea that inmates may eventually be released. There was national outrage 2 years ago over a similar transfer involving serial killer Paul Bernardo. In a statement, the Correctional Service wrote, "We engage with victims at various points of an offender's sentence and provide them with opportunities to voice their concerns, which are considered. Adding in all our decisions, public safety remains our paramount consideration." Experts say whether a prisoner remains in maximum or medium security is largely dictated by the risk they pose to other inmates and the public, and not the crimes they committed.
They're still locked up and safe from the community and not likely to escape.
As for Millard, corrections officials say he will be eligible to apply for day parole in 2036 and full parole in 2039. John Venavalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
A GO train crashed into a dump truck in Markham yesterday. Around 8:30 yesterday morning, according to Metrolinx officials, the crew on board sounded the horn and slowed the train down, but they couldn't avoid the dump truck, which the driver had parked right across the tracks. No injuries were reported. An annual report from Breast Cancer Canada suggests there are gaps in Canadian healthcare leading to delays in approving treatments. The report also highlights advances in treatment, screening, and policy. However, even with 7 new breast cancer therapies approved in the past year, getting from approval to actual access still takes more than a year on top of that.
And we're still looking at Quebec and Alberta a little bit behind everyone else. But, you know, it's great to know and it's great to see that we've made progress on that. If women are not feeling 100%, they know their bodies best, you know. So present, make sure you go to, you know, your primary caregiver if you have one. And if not, certainly you can self-refer in most of the provinces to get that mammogram done.
The report also recommends other provinces follow Ontario's decision to lower the screening age for average risk women from 50 years old down to 40.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
I'm Sherry Flick, host of Weekend Spotlight, Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. This Saturday, Luke Rodriguez from Virgin Radio Afternoons joins me. We'll also speak with Abby at Museum London about all kinds of fun things going on there, and an organization in London that offers international travel for 10 to 17-year-olds. And finally, an amazing concert coming up to raise money for Regional HIV/AIDS Connection. We'll tell you more. That's Saturday, 8 a.m.
It's time to build a toy mountain. Make this holiday season merry for so many kids. Bring new unwrapped toys to CF Masonville Place.
All in support of the Salvation Army. We will be collecting donations November 21st to December 24th.
With all donations helping families right here in our community. Toy Mountain, supported by Gomez Appliances, London Bass Center, and UBC Built Local 1946.
Let's make this the best toy mountain ever. Visit ctvlondon.ca for more ways to donate.
Finally tonight, the CPKC holiday train is making stops in Woodstock and London tonight.
It's that time of year again. The CPKC holiday train is back.
The train travels through Canadian and American communities for about a month ahead of Christmas, raising money and support for local food banks. The event includes a musical performance, and this year it is early 2000s rock band Smash Mouth, along with Kitchener's J.J. Wild. Tonight's Woodstock stop is happening now, and the train's expected to arrive in London around 8:30. Organizers say since it started in 1999, the holiday train has raised more than $26 million for local food banks and brought in 5.5 million pounds of food. That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a great weekend.